From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time for Racing the Bar here on The Horse's Mouth. Of course, at Tommy Max, at my bar with my good friend Alan Pickert. What are we talking about? We're talking about law. That's what we talk about on this part of the show, and it's always a good time. So let's welcome in Alan and his guest, Robert. Alan, how are you, my man?
Good to see you, my friend.
From Terrell Hogan. Good to have you, my man.
Good to be here, my friend.
What's going on? What's the latest? You got anything new and exciting you're working on?
Actually, I have multiple trials coming up, both for medical malpractice and for mesothelioma. So
okay.
I am very busy. I'm going to enjoy my beer.
I was going to say, how do you balance all that? Like, you got to get that ready. You got to prep for that. Both of those. You also got to not get too over. Can't peak too early, right?
No, and I currently have 106 other cases in litigation right now.
Good
so
106.
Yeah, so I am.
Attorneys are busy.
Pretty much working 7 days a week, and the wife is saying, "What have you done?" And she's like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" It was one thing when I did it 30 years ago, starting out. Right. But I'm in year 34 now, and I'm still working.
Just
crazy
hustling,
hours.
baby.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right, Robert Devine is here from Woolsey Morecom.
Yes.
How about that for a name? That's awesome.
Yep.
Tell us what you're into, please.
So what I do is general counsel services. So for our law firm, we do all sorts of litigation and things like that. So we're a litigation firm, but we're branching out now and starting a new thing where we do general counsel services, which is, like I said, net jets for basically the lawyers, or actually for law firms, where you're a smaller company or medium-sized company and you don't have room yet or budget yet for a full-time general counsel. So what we provide is incremental services for that so that they can do certain things until they get to the point as they're growing. Right. So you like a lot of companies that are funders and founders and people like that are starting up their business, they need that sort of help, but they don't really have the capacity to do it right yet. Right. And so you give it to them in increments to try and help them get there.
Oh, what a cool niche,
And there's also other stuff that you could do, which is, obviously you have full-on companies that have full-on general counsel roles, but they have something that's going on that they don't have the capacity for in a minute.
Gotcha.
And so basically we can provide those services for a limited period of time.
Whatever they need.
Exactly, that's it.
Rob, what's the benefit? I would think it's, one of them for sure is your experience. I've known Rob for 30 plus years, even when he used to have
Thanks
hair.
for dating us.
There you go.
Oh, whatever.
And see, we look a lot alike. Anyway, but what's the benefit of doing that with somebody like you that has all this experience as general counsel in your previous employments and what have you, versus someone who says, okay, I don't need in-house counsel right now, but should I contact a lawyer, at a different law firm that has maybe a specialty or something like that? What's the...
You could do it that way, obviously. That's sort of the hard way. That's why we say if you get someone like me, right, I can get myself in a position where I can do it myself, or I can actually have the resources out there where I can say, okay, you need this person, this person, this person, so they can rely on that. Just like a regular general counsel will do. Like whenever I had an issue when I was the chief legal officer at Steinmart, right, I'd be like, okay, this is an intellectual property issue. I know enough about it to get through the day, but I may need a deep expert because we're getting sued over an issue. Sure. So at that point, I know the intellectual property people that are out there, and that puts me in a position where I can actually assist the company in achieving the goals they have. Right. And really what this is all about, being a general counsel, is being what's called a T-shaped lawyer. And so a T-shaped lawyer is this. You have the vertical where you provide the legal knowledge and advice, and the T, the top of it, the T, that's where you provide the business acumen that has to go with it, right? Yep. So it's like, like as an in-house lawyer, you think about, okay, my easiest thing would be like, let me do something that's low risk because it's easier on my job, right? If I can just say no, then at that point I'm safe. I've given advice. But you really have to have what I call,
acumen.
It's not even an acumen. It's really that what you have to have is a spectrum of outcomes. So you have low risk, medium low risk, medium risk, medium high, and then dead red risk. And sometimes for a business, dead red risk is the one that you want to take because it's best for your business. And that's what takes you out of being this part of the lawyer and this part of the lawyer and saying, okay, you know what? We have a high risk situation, and you know what? The horse may get out of the barn. That's my legal advice. Then it's my job to go get it.
Right. So kind of like not just legal, but deal making at the same time, helping them in that
All
kind of
sorts of
advisory
stuff.
type of thing.
Buy side, sell
Kind of
side
like a financial
transactions.
advisor that doesn't just do stocks and bonds, they actually do some deals with their clientele.
We had an entire plan.
Yeah,
Sometimes
right.
it's a foundation, things
Okay.
like that you have to do from a standpoint with finances.
How long are those? I'm sure they vary, but how long are those contracts when you're fractional? In-house counsel.
It can be whatever you want it to
Whatever,
be.
okay.
It can be
Wow.
10 hours. It could
Yep.
be a secondment, which would be like you're there full time for a period of time.
Gotcha. Yep.
So it varies.
So whether you need one or you have one that needs extra services, you're the guys to call.
That's correct.
That's fantastic. Great. Are you a Jag fan? That's the biggest question you'll have.
No. I am a Jags fan. I'm a secondary Jags fan. I grew up
Okay.
in Kansas City.
Oh,
and so I know, I'm sorry, we're getting
Don't apologize.
We're very tired of winning Super Bowls. We want someone else to take it.
Oh, you only won 2. Take it easy. 3. It's about 2 in a row. You're going for the 3-peat. We'll see. If you get the 3-peat, you come back and talk.
And
much
say we're the
smack
dynasty
you want.
now?
There you go.
What do you think
Very
about the
good.
stadium deal for us?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great for the business. It's great for the city. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree too.
Just curious about your clientele, though. Are most of your clients from Florida or North Florida, or are they from all over?
Primarily they're from Florida, but one of the things about being a general counsel, like when I was at Steinmart, I was in all 50 states. So I had to know the laws of all 50 states. And of course we had California, which is the hardest place to practice. And so I would practice in California. And usually what I do is practice in California and then actually norm that out for the rest of the states, because I knew if California did something, the rest of the states will eventually follow.
Okay, there you go. Well, thanks so much for being here, man. Keep up the great work. Alan, always good stuff, man.
Good to see you, man.
You bring the best guests.
Well,
Yeah.
people don't realize that he can offer that.
No, I know. That's
to a lot
specialty.
to a lot of great companies that are
Yeah.
like, hey, I don't want to go hire a full-time lawyer or do, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I don't want in-house counsel, but we really need some legal advice here.
Right.
And Rob's your man.
Yeah, and you don't want you don't want to have a high impact issue that comes up, right?
Right.
Because if you're growing and you got a great business model going,
Yep.
and all of a sudden something can completely derail you. And so you got to avoid that.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Sure, thank you.
Appreciate that. All right. That'll do it for this time around. Make sure you check out Alan and Rob's profile right there at the dailynewsnetwork.com website. You'll see this conversation and so many others. Always great to have our guests here on The Horse's Mouth. So until next time, stay safe out there and be cool and follow the law if you can. Would you please, for crying out loud? We'll see you next time right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Darrell Hogan Law is a collection of lawyers that help people solve problems in areas of their life they're not able to solve them themselves.
We are not individuals. We are purely a team. We work together for all of our clients.
We have the resources to win your case and win it to such a degree that you're going to be very happy with the results.